I am representing BlackProp, but there are a few things that I want us to discuss when it comes to bond management. You understand? So, I always say you don't have to pay your bond for 20 years if ever there are other options like additional payments that you can utilize. Let me make an example. Let's talk about a bond of like 900,000 because that is the normal housing in terms of first time buyers and stuff, for people that are earning around 30,000, that's what they can afford. So coming back to a bond of like 900,000, your bond repayment, if ever you put zero deposit, your bond repayment will be 9,137. Obviously, there will be other costs like insurance and every other thing. But if you put a deposit of 10%, of which is normally 9,000 in this case, it means your bond repayment will reduce to 8,223, of which is positive. So putting a deposit, it always works best. But when you look at this, by putting a deposit, it means you'll be paying a lesser installment by at least 900 rand. That is very positive for that matter. Then coming back to additional payments. So I will say you are putting a deposit of how much? You are putting a deposit of 90,000. Then it means your bond repayment will be 8,223. Obviously, I'm not including other costs like insurance, the rates, the levies, if you have an apartment or an estate. That is not included in this case. Let's come back to additional payments. So it means you are paying 8,223 for your bond. And if you had a deposit of 10%, it means your bond is more like 810. So if you add like, let's say 200 rand, you can reduce your loan term by 1 year, 6 months by adding 200 rand on your monthly repayment when you did also a deposit. So it means you will save 106,000, the amount that could have added, because if you have a bond, remember, interest is added daily. So by adding 200 rand every month towards your bond of 810,000, you save 1 year and 6 months. So you reduce your home loan by 1 year and 6 months, you end up paying 18 years, 6 months, and the money you save is more than 106,000. That is very positive by adding 200 rand. But someone will say, what if I add 500 rand on your bond of 900,000 or 810 because of the deposit of 10%? You will reduce your loan term by 3 years, 4 months, meaning that you will save like 229,000. The money that you could have paid when you talk about 20-year term with no additional payment. Remember, on a bond of like 810,000, the total payment in a space of 20 years will be 1.973,000. 1.973,000. That is 20 years with no additional payments. But if you are adding 500 rand on top every month, it means you will reduce it by 3 years, 4 months. Your remaining loan term will be more like 16 years, 8 months. That is very positive. Remember, you are just adding 100 rand only. 500 rand. If you add 500 and your spouse is adding another 500 rand on your bond, it means you will reduce your home loan by 5 years, 6 months, and the money you will save that you could have paid on interest is 375,729 on the current interest rate. So meaning that instead of paying 1.9 million in 20 years, you end up paying 1.598 thousand in 14 years, 6 months. But someone will say, Sponisho, how can I add 2,000 rand? By doing that, you reduce your loan term by 8 years, 5 months, meaning that you save like 500,000 or more on your bond. This is the money that you could have paid towards interest. So instead of paying 1.93 million in 20 years, in 11 years you pay 1.4 by just adding 2,000 rand more. But someone will say, where are we going to get money to add in a situation or economy like this? No, you can add even 100 rand. So it's not about, I'm addressing people who differ in degrees, financially speaking. So that is why at the end of the day, we start from 200 Rand upwards. So don't feel offended if ever now we are adding a bigger amount. It's not you speaking, but it's poverty speaking sometimes, because we started from 200, you said nothing. And when I go up and say, okay, now we are adding 3,000, people are starting to ask, where are we going to get 3,000? No, play in your lane, remain in your lane. If ever you afford 200, do that. Now I'm speaking to another class that can be able to add 3,000 towards their bond, of which is no offense, meaning that your remaining home loan will be 9 years, 9 months. You are done in 9 years, 9 months. You reduce it by 10,000 in 3 months. But if someone will say, I will add half. So meaning that I can add 4.1. You can actually pay off your bond in 8 years, 4 months. In truthfully speaking, if you look at how much you are paying towards your bond, if your property is 900,000, and you are paying 9,200 towards your bond, of which is what you will pay on an interest rate of 10.75%, it will take you 8 years to pay the capital of 900,000. So these other 12 years, it's more like interest. But it's a vice versa, because when it comes to bond repayment, you start with interest. For the first 12 years, more money goes towards interest. Then after 12 years, it more going towards capital. That's another thing you need to understand. But someone who can say, okay, Sponis, I hear you, but for me, I just want to finish it up in 5 years. If you want to finish your bond in 5 years, like paying for your car, it means you must double up your installment. So if you double up your installment, you can pay your bond in 5 years, 6 months, meaning that you will reduce your home loan by 14 years, 6 months, instead of paying an interest of 1,163,000, you end up paying an interest of 263,000. I've got one client actually from our mentorship. They are a couple. They've paid for their bond less than 12 months. I'm telling you the honest truth. We sold them a property through BlackProp last year, and last month they told me they are done, because they were applying every available strategy. Come December, it's a bonus time. They were putting all that money towards their bond. They were doubling the amount, and then in less than a year, they were done, of which is doable. And one of these days, I will invite that client for our Propcast interview, just to talk about how he did it or how they did it, because they are a couple. So those are the few things. To pay your bond in 5 years, 6 months, you must just double the amount. But there's another trick you need to understand. Let's say you are not adding monthly, but you want to do a lump sum. Let's say, for instance, on your bond of 810, then instead of putting 10% deposits, now I'm taking it as if a bond of 110. Ne? So for 20 years on this bond, you will pay 8,222 on the current interest rate. And the total amount after 20 years will be 1.9 million, 73,000 and above. That is no additional payment. But if you decide not putting a deposit of 81,000, but put 81,000 as an additional once-off lump sum, because you can be able to do that, then it means you automatically reduce your bond by 5 years, 2 months. By putting a lump sum as an additional, meaning that you've got your bond, maybe in your second month or so, you then put a lump sum that you could have used as a deposit. Automatically, it will reduce your bond by 5 years, 2 months. That's one of the things you can do instead of putting a deposit. So the first scenario, there was a deposit. The second scenario, you are now just putting that amount without putting a deposit. Obviously, your bond repayment, monthly repayments will remain the same. They will not be reduced, because a deposit helps you to reduce your bond monthly repayment. But if you are not putting a deposit but decide to put it as a lump sum, additional lump sum, it will automatically reduce your home loan by 5 years, 2 months, and you save like 516,000, half a million, by putting 81,000 as a additional lump sum once off. Obviously, for someone who say, okay, I would like to put 10,000 every year. So by putting 10,000, it means you reduce your home loan by 10 months for that matter. Someone will say, Spoonie, so what if I put 12,000 once off from my bonus instead of putting 1,000 rand every month? You can play around the calculator, but if you are putting 12,000 once off, it means you reduce your home loan by 1 year. It meaning that every year you put 12,000 from your bonus once off, you cut it by 1 year, meaning that every year you add, you reduce it by another year and another year. By adding 12,000 from your bonus once a year on a 810,000 bond, it means you save like 97,000. Those are the options you very much need to understand. But for more information, you can visit our website, www.blackprop.co.za. You can get to see the properties that we have on sale as I stroll down for you. Alternatively, if you will like BlackProp to assist you in terms of selling your property, we operate in Gauteng, we operate in Western Cape, Cape Town, we operate in the whole of KZN. Then you can also engage us. And our national number is 087-164-8505, 087-164-8505. You can check the rentals that we have across South Africa. You can also stroll down and check the rentals, other managements, apartments. We have the apartments that we manage as BlackProp. And then under tools, we also have bond calculator. And those are the tools you can use to play around in terms of calculating your bond, how things look, how things work, and so forth. So you can visit our website, www.blackprop.co.za, and then you can check out the whole of properties we have that are available at your own disposal. So remember, if you want to list, you can list your property with us as BlackProp. You can get to see our agencies and our best-selling agencies for that matter. And if you know anyone who is selling, we have a referral program where you can make an additional income by referring those sellers that you know around your neighborhood. All right. Thank you so much for checking us out. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the day. Remember the name, BlackProp.